there everyone, it's Vicky here today designing for Pinkfresh Studio, and I'm using the Sunshine on My Mind collection. I wanted to use lots of different colour papers, but I wanted to use the more muted tones for this layout. So I've just chosen a couple of blues, a couple of greens and a couple of pinks here, which I'm cutting strips from. And I am going to create another hand cut title, but this time in a slightly different format to last month. So I'm using my strips and I want to place them across my page. Now I'm not sure if I'm going to do it at the moment, placing them all horizontally or vertically, but so I'm just playing around with them just at the moment. I'm trying to decide what to do, bringing my photos on to have a look, and just generally playing with it. And I decided in the end just to go with 5 strips rather than 6 and spread them down the page like this. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to use the title Smile, and that has 5 letters, so 5 strips works for that. So I'm just distressing the edges of all of the strips and then I'm sticking them down to the page. So I just skipped through that. I'm going to cut off the excess and I'm going to use those excess pieces to make my letters. So just ruffle up the edges a little bit there. So it's quite a muted palette that I'm using. There are some quite bright colours in this collection, so I just wanted to bring out the more muted ones on this. So I'm going to, those strips are all 2 inches by the way, and I'm just cutting these little pieces into 3-inch long, so they're 2 by 3, and that's what I'm going to use to cut my letters. So I'm going to do tone on tone. I'm going to use the same piece of paper onto each strip, and I'm just going to again hand draw my letters and cut them out. And I've seen techniques like this where you have a die cut and the letter is sort of cut out of the end of the strip. And I just thought I'd make my own take on that. Right, okay, so just erasing the line where I drew it and the letter's ready. And I'm going to go through that with each of the letters of Smile. Again, you could just see I just hand cut them. They're super easy to do. As long as you have each piece of paper starting off at the same size, it works pretty well. There you go, there are all the letters now in situ, and I'm going to just put a little line. I've just got a fine line dark grey pen and I'm just putting a line around each letter just for a bit of extra definition. There we go. It just makes them pop off the page just a little bit. So I've got some inks here. I will link up the colours below so that you can see which colours I used, but they match perfectly here with the papers that I have. So I'm just going to use the packaging technique to water some of this down. So you just sort of dab the ink onto the packaging, add a little bit of water, and then paint it onto the page. And I haven't put any gesso down, this is just thick white cardstock, but because I haven't added a lot, it's fine with the paper. The page is very slightly buckled, but it's not too bad. Okay, so I'm going to go through that with all the 3 colours, and I've got just taking the letters off so that I can add it. And the final pink here. It just adds a bit of extra colour underneath the letters. You can't really see it. It looks a little bit messy like that, but once the letters are over the top, you don't really see it. There we go, so I just sort of let that dry, and while that's drying I'm going to put some foam onto the back of my letters so that I can pop them off the page a little bit. And again, I'll skip through that because you don't need to watch me do that. That's sticky back foam. It's sticky one side and not the other, so that's what I use, and I find that that works really well for, particularly for doing letters like this. There we go, and I've stuck them down with wet glue onto the page, which is now dry. And I'm going to start thinking about my photo placements. And there's an order for these photos. So it's my niece. She starts off looking fed up, and then she notices I'm taking photos and she smirks a little bit, and then she smiles. So I thought that that was a really cute series of photos to use on here. And I want to just use them above the title, and they're tucking in behind it. I want to add some tissue paper just to the back of two of them. I've put one onto foam and the other two are going to be flat, but I wanted to just put something behind them before they're attached to the page. There we go. And then they will stick flat to the page. I'm going to use double-sided tape to stick those down. There we go. So you can see they sort of tuck over each other, they tuck behind the letters as well, just on there in a random fashion. They're not all straight. Okay, so now it's time for embellishing. And I'm going to pull out the floral die cuts. And a couple of flowers there. I'm sort of sticking to the tone-on-tone feel of this. So blue flower on the blue section, pink on the pink section, with the green leaves going in towards the green in the middle. So that's those, and these are the other die cuts in the collection, the other different little bits in here. I'm going to use that tag and those glasses. I don't use everything that I pull out of here, but I do use the three things I've already put down. I think about putting some more tags at the top in a tone-on-tone, but I changed my mind on that. Okay, so I've been through those, and now I'm going to the puffy stickers and choosing a couple of those things out in just a moment. But before I do that, I'm going to grab, what am I grabbing here? Some more foam. Oh, I'm going to stick down the flowers that I've put on. So I'm just going to put them on sticky back foam just to give them a bit of extra dimension from the page. And I'm just going to stick those glasses there over the photo. So they almost look like they're on her head, which I thought was quite sweet. Bit of foam here for this flower. And I'm going to stick that tag down, best summer ever. I'm going to stick that down flat. Then I've got some waxed thread, which I'm going to use. I'm going to put some of the blue here onto the M. And I'm just going to wrap it around the leg of the M. And I wrapped it around 3 times, and then I'm going to tie a bow. Just adds a little bit of extra interest there. And then I'm going to use the pink thread, and I'm going to put a little bow in the tag, the pink tag at the top. Just to add a little bit of extra texture there. And what's a tag without some string? I always think. I feel like they always need to have it. So I'm going to stick that there. And I'm going to put a bit of foam on the back. And then using the puffy stickers, I'm going to add a couple of extra little embellishments. That one says fun, and then there's a watermelon, which I think works up there well with the colours. There we go. And I think we're getting near to the end, and I'm going to put on some enamel dots. So we have 3 colours. I'm going to put on greens, pinks and blues in 3s. Just the blues to go, and then you'll see the final layout. Here it comes. I do hope this has given you some inspiration, and have you tried a large cut file? A large hand cut title before? It is such fun to make and pretty easy to do. There are some close-ups coming up as well. If you have any questions at all, let me know. I'll link the products that I've used below so that you can see those in the store. And we'd love you to follow the Pinkfresh YouTube channel. And of course, I'd love you to follow my channel. But in the meantime, this has been Vicki for Pinkfresh Studio. Bye-bye.